I gave people all the stuff they really needed. Social Security checks, utility bills, TV guide.
I want a TV guidance counselor. TV guidance counselor. Staying up to watch all night, and everything's gonna be alright with my TV guidance counselor.
Hey everybody, welcome to TV Guidance Counselor. I am Ken Reed, your TV Guidance Counselor, and as always, this is the show, TV Guidance Counselor, which is why I welcomed you to TV Guidance Counselor if you were paying attention. This is the show where each and every week I welcome an interesting person to the show to discuss classic television using a back issue of TV Guide magazine from my personal collection as the inspiration for our conversation. My guest this week is a journalist and author, a great follow on social media, an all-around interesting guy, Joseph Corey. You can find him on Amazon, his books. He's got a couple in an 80s teen film festival series that, as you would imagine, I particularly like, under Joseph Corey III, is his, it's not a nom de plume if it's his actual name. Yeah, someone let me know what that means. Anyway, we're in week 4 of June. My birthday is next week. I don't know how I feel about it, but if you want to talk about it, you can email me at tvguidancecounselor@gmail.com or ken@kenread.com, or over on the Patreon. You can chat about my birthday with other listeners of the show. Is that a thing people would want to do? But if you have $5 or more a month, you'd get a PDF of this Grizzley Adams cover edition of TV Guide that we discuss here. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of TV Guidance Counselor with my guest, Joseph Corey.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
Live via satellite from North Carolina, Joe, how are you, sir?
Hey, good to talk to you after hearing so many episodes and stuff.
Oh, nice. Thank you for listening to them. It's always, I just always, like, it doesn't occur to me that anyone actually listens.
It's being a TV maniac. It's like, oh, the ability to tear through a TV guide from the 70s or 80s and 90s. Yeah, I'm there. It's
I was just surprised. Did you have any of your own TV guides? Because see, the books you write about movies are very well researched, and there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm like, I guess we have the internet now, but I was like, obviously he probably has TV guides.
I don't. My parents never got TV guide. We had the freebie one that came with the see, I guess I gotta give the background. I grew up in Germany. My dad got stationed. He's a West Pointer and Army Corps of Engineers guy, and we ended up in Germany from like 1970 to 1975.
Wow. And
growing up in West Germany, and this was West Germany, right against the wall and or the border and stuff. We only had one American TV station. The Armed Forces TV had one channel. It was in black and white, and I believe it went off the air around 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, weird.
And came on at like 8 or something.
I've gotten military base TV guides for the Armed Services channel from like people I know who grew up on bases, but I'm wondering if they had like different armed services networks depending on where you were, because it was limited, but there's like some of the ones I have are like a little more expansive. I think they have like 2 channels.
Oh man, well that might have been after we left. This was, as I said, and that was the thing, because there was only one channel. There was like a lot of reruns, and like even the new shows were basically a year and a half old or 2 years.
Right.
We left in 1975 in the in spring of 1975, and they just ran the $6 Million Man pilot movie. And so I thought it was this brand new show, and we fly back, and we stayed in Boston with my relatives for like 2 months when we were there, and I'm all excited about this new show, and by then everyone's jaded by it. It's like, oh, you mean $6 Million Man? Yeah, it's old, $6
Million Man, that's from like a fucking year ago, kid. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was just, you only had that one channel, and, we had German channels, and they were in color, but that was also a thing. It was only black and white.
That's very strange. I wonder if that's like If it was like a cost thing, I have no idea.
I don't.
Weird.
I mean, I think it was something to do probably with keeping the East Germans from watching Bonanza in color. Some sort of punishment.
There'd be secrets there. What kind of did you watch German stuff?
Not really. We would watch. The TV shows I have. They were weird. There was like I remember one show. It was like some sort of Sinbad show, and they all took place in the desert or something. And then there was this weird science fiction show, and I swear it was just a bunch of people. It was like, imagine Space 1999, except they're sitting at a table and staring at objects and talking about it.
Oh, so it's like
I don't know if that was the whole plot or just what I remember. But, it
wasn't even a TV show. It was just like people in a barrack next to you.
Now I do remember watching, because you couldn't run, and the same with the Armed Forces Network didn't have commercials. They would have PSAs. We got the VDs for Everybody song and stuff like that.
It's important.
Don't smoke cigarettes and things like that. And but the Germans, I believe, had a rule that you couldn't have commercials within the confines of the TV show. So they would have these blocks between the shows, I believe, of commercials. And then they would have little cartoons go between the commercials, like these little, really short. And they're the Minchel Men, I believe it's what they're called or something. Meinzel Minchel Men or something. They're like these little elves. There's like 6 of them, and they do goofy stuff. And you can find them on, they're actually, this is the beauty of YouTube, they're there from when I was a kid. And I'm sitting there staring at these things going, oh my God, they were real. And they actually sold toys. They have little rubber toys of these things. We had a couple, except I believe my brother ate the toes off one or something. It was kind of gruesome.
Those are delicious. If they're like Smurfs, there's like a real density that makes them real chewable.
And we had Smurfs over there. That was the big thing. We had no idea what they were. We just remember finding these little Smurf toys, and it was like, oh, these are great. Then we come to America and and we're like, oh yeah, Smurfs. What? And then about like 2 years later, the cartoon comes on, and we're like, oh, this is what these characters were supposed to do. It's like,
and you knew what those kids felt like when you were talking about $6 Million Man, and and they were like you were like Smurfs. That's like 10 years old, idiot.
Now, what was also interesting is, as I told you, we had Crusader Rabbit on Saturday mornings. I mean, this show was like 20-something years old at that point.
It's from the 50s, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. I haven't seen episodes since then, but so all the kids shows were old. Maybe at Scooby-Doo. I can't remember that completely. So basically, my idea of what Saturday morning kids shows involved was we would go at the beginning of the school year, you'd go down to the PX, and they would have the display of the new thermoses and lunch boxes. And we'd try to figure out what the hell these cartoons were. It's like, is this a good cartoon? Should we get this box? Do I want... Chan, the amazing Chan and the Clan, or whatever it was?
Because you'd never see it. Like, it probably wasn't airing where you were, but you'd get the latest lunch boxes, but not the latest cartoons that were associated with them.
Correct. I mean, I believe I had somewhere, and I still probably have it somewhere at my parents' house, the lunchbox that has on one side Inch High Private Eye, and the other side has Goober and the Ghost Chaser.
Yeah. That's a classic.
And the characters on the lunchbox, there's like one big guy with a fuzzy hair. He's not in the cartoon. Yeah. It's like, what the hell? They didn't even, so it was kind of strange that way too.
Well, the length of production of a physical item was way longer then too. So my favorite thing about especially lunchboxes and stuff, but like Saturday morning cartoon merchandise is partially the thing you just said, which is sort of like the same phenomenon of you're reading the novelization of a movie, but they had to write it from the shooting script so that it could come out at the same time as the movie. And often by the time that comes out, there's like way different things that have happened in the actual movie. But in the Saturday morning ones, occasionally you do get like characters that are designs are slightly different. But they have to like hedge their bets about which shows they think are going to be the most popular to like order enough of those items. And they almost universally get it wrong. Like, it's like, oh yeah, this year meatball and spaghetti is going to be huge. We're going to get all the folders and everything for that. And I have a disco lunchbox somewhere in this room.
Oh.
I have no idea who that was for.
Yeah, see, when I was a kid, I mean, I had like the Lancelot Link Secret Chimp one.
That's a good one.
Because that was on before we left for Europe. So, we had that and the Banana Splits. Those were like the two shows that never came on in Germany.
Well, chimps are universal.
It was. I remember talking. I think it was William White from, or no, but he was. He did Rusty on Pee Wee. He did one of the characters on Pee Wee's.
Oh, Wayne White.
Yeah, William White, and he told me that Pee Wee's Playhouse was the most expensive children's TV show since Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp, because those chimps were not one-take wonders. So, they had to burn some film there.
The insurance premiums they had for those chimps, because they at any time could just rip someone's face off.
Look,
did you see the little documentary that was on the Lancelot Link DVD set?
Yes, I've actually bought both of the DVD sets when they came
good,
out.
where they find Lancelot Link, because people like chimps live to be like 70, 80 years old sometimes, and all the chimps we see in TV and movies are like children, because once they go through puberty, like they're super dangerous.
They will eat your face off.
Yeah, so he's like 2 years old or something in that show, and they find him at like a chimp sanctuary, and it's like it's Lancelot Link.
It's a little nicer than the Have you seen Project Nim?
No.
It's a documentary. It's about this family. I think it was Harvard. It was based at, and this professor decides he wants to see what would happen if you raise a chimp with a family without any contact with the chimp world, with a human family, and they speak to him in sign language. And he basically volunteers this woman and her family who, A, none of the family knows sign language, and B, I think it's because he had an affair with her.
It's not his family. That's what you.
It's not his family, and so this chimp is living with him and stuff, and it's this amazing, heartbreaking, wonderful film. It came out over a decade ago, but it's the guy who did Man on Wire. It was his follow-up film, and I expected it to be bigger, and it's sadly that people should see Project Nim. So,
but not related to the Rats of Nim.
No. It's
a whole other depressing thing.
I think they called him like Chimp Gnomsky or something like that was the nickname for the chimp.
And I would not recommend, speaking of 80s movies, because that's kind of your sweet spot.
It has become.
Yeah. As you wear a Fast Times at Ridgemont High shirt. Was that the one that came in the Target VHS box?
Yes.
That one there. A movie which is a very well done movie, but that I would never recommend any human being watches is Project X.
Oh, is that the weird? Oh, that's the one. Yeah, okay, Matthew Broderick and the chimps.
Yeah, Helen Hunt, the poor little chimp and his little, like, they sell little alligator-looking dog toys at, like, every single pet store. And so when I'm browsing for my dogs, I always see one, and I instantly, this is not even a lie, I instantly start to well up because I'm so traumatized by that film, having only seen it once.
I don't even think I've seen that. I haven't dug into that one yet because it didn't quite fall in the parameters.
Brutal.
Oh,
they're basically.
I remember there was protests over the treatment of the chimps.
Oh yeah, the premise of this thing is that Matthew Broderick's like an army guy, and Helen Hunt worked at a college, and she taught this chimp to sign language and all this stuff. But then the like funding gets shut down, so they take the chimp and they put the chimp in this military training thing, and the military training is to teach chimps to fly airplane simulators so that they can then see how far they can fly while dying of radiation poisoning.
Wow. That's
so, but they don't tell them that's what they're doing. So like she's training these chimps and he's training. They're like, yeah, he did it. He flew the plane. Great. And they go in and there's like this one big chimp and they're just like bombarding him with radiation and they just watch him die. And they're like, no. And that, oh my, it's awful. And I'm sure it's probably exactly what happened in real life, but it haunts me to this day.
Yeah.
But speaking of hairy humanoids, the cover here, you picked a Dan Haggerty issue. So this is June 11th to the 17th, 1977. Dan Haggerty and Bozo of the Life and Times of Grizzley Adams. Dan Haggerty is a very fascinating case to me.
I agree. I'll have to tell you my stories of Dan Haggerty.
Okay. It seems like everyone of a certain age group has like a Dan Haggerty thing, not necessarily a story. Like when I had Rodney from the Dead Milkmen on a couple months ago, he said there's an unreleased EP where the Dead Milkmen would give each other like songwriting prompts to get like kind of kickstart for a new album. And one year their songwriting prompt was you have to write songs about Dan Haggerty. So they all recorded a song about Dan Haggerty and they exist somewhere, but it's never been released. I'm still working on getting them. And then in the 80s, he was in a series of some of the worst and most bizarre movies of anyone's career.
I can believe it. It's,
Have you seen Elves?
No, that didn't show up. Now, see, my old job, one of my old jobs, I worked at the North Carolina School of the Arts in the film archives, and we took over the National Film Service when they went belly up. My old boss, Ray Regis, grabbed everything. Completely illegal according to state law, but he grabbed everything because it was going to go in the trash. And so we got all these films. So we got tons of copies. I believe it was something called Grizzly Mountain that he was in. Yes. We didn't get Elves, but we got, because there are all these unwanted films. Don't worry, the studios grabbed all their stuff back because they were like, we want it off the shelf. Because to let the audience know, National Film Service for almost 80 years controlled the traffic of films. Like the studios would send the actual physical films would get shipped to them. They would put them on reels, put them in cans, and then they get the instructions on what movies, houses to ship them in and ship them back and stuff. And then they had warehouses with the films in stock so you could, keep going for retro houses and stuff. So they controlled it all, and they were the only game in town for decades. I mean, we had one can that had Monogram on it and another one that might have, just weird cans that came with this collection. So, I mean, they will, and then eventually, like all great monopolies, they pissed off the wrong person who decided, we could do this. And they started this right before digital film hit. The digital theaters started. And so, like, I believe Disney split off from them. They said, we'll handle this ourselves. And Fox and I forget who else. And so immediately, within like months, it went from being the only game in town to dead.
Yeah, I mean,
we got all these films.
They used to have catalogs. You can still find them sometimes, old catalogs. And it's shocking that they have like Disney, like all these stuff where you're like, why weren't they just handling them themselves? And there's your answer.
I mean, because it was a messy kind of business. You're shipping, and just in and out. You know what? Actually, if you ever want to see a National Film Service archive in action, Fade to Black that is the LA, I believe the LA branch, because they were all over the place. We had to basically make a deal for, I think, Yellow Freight to pick these things up all over the place and bring them to us to a warehouse at Reynolds Tobacco where we unloaded just over 100 trucks. It was my summer project.
Abandoned things that the studios either didn't own anymore, didn't care about. Because in the pre-VHS world, for the most part, once a movie was out of the theater, the studio kind of didn't care about it anymore. It was like gravy for if some college wanted to rent a print of a movie from 10 years ago. They're like, cool, extra money. You guys deal with it.
And most of the time, it was just 16 millimeter stuff that Kit Parker was handling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
or that would go to the UHF stations and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This issue had
we're dead.
Right. Well, Elves, I don't want to leave you hanging. 1985, I believe. Mm-hmm. It's about neo-Nazis who believe that the elf is actually a genetic a creation of magic and genetic tampering by the Nazis, and is a pure race. And so this guy's supposed to mate an elf with this daughter, who's also his granddaughter, for like to like bring about the like master race. And Dan Haggerty plays a drunken, unemployed department store Santa who is an ex-cop and who single-handedly puts an end to this plot.
Wow. I've got to find it now. That's just even if it sounds, did they remember to take the lens cap off?
Yeah, I mean, it's in focus.
Okay.
It's lit. You can hear people. But it is
to look for it.
amazing. And Dan Haggerty is something else in this movie. But before we get to Dan Haggerty, I was very surprised by this first article in here. And it's one of two. It's by William Barry Furlong. And it's the tactical gamesmanship in manipulating the news. Public officials have an arsenal of tricks for turning media coverage to their advantage. So this is 77. And this article is really insightful and kind of terrifying as to how long this stuff's been going on and how much we already knew about it. I didn't do anything about it.
No, well, and you also have to remember, back then the news was, 30 minutes for the network?
Yeah, nighttime news.
And if you were lucky, maybe an hour for your local. So, yeah, manipulating the news, what stories got on, what stories didn't, because that time is, you can only run one story at one time.
Right.
And, we'll just skip that tonight. It's not really a story. And yeah, I mean, but the worst part is now we've got these 24/7 news monsters. I guess there's about 10 of them, it feels like. And they seem to offer less than the 30 minutes used to.
Oh yeah, it's just the same thing over and over while not saying anything. It's like filibuster. It's like filibuster television. You just got to keep talking.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, it's rarely that you have someone show up with facts, and this is what I reported. This is what we're looking at. This is even the quote experts they bring on. They're not really experts. They're just people who can spiel for 15 minutes.
Well, they're also from made up like institutes. They'll be like from the Immigration Studies Institute, but it's just some like right wing think tank or like just like a made up charity. But I did used to really enjoy it's a thing that used to happen on radio a lot, but the only place it still happens is on these 24-hour news networks. And it's when the host will actually interact with the host coming on after them. They'll like throw it to them and they'll have like a little awkward banter before it goes over to the other person. And they don't have to do that. And I don't know why they still do it, but my favorite one ever was Al Sharpton was thrown into the next show and he goes, "You got a great guest coming on, Senator Elizabeth Taylor." And the lady goes, "Warren." It's Elizabeth Warren. And he goes, "What?" And she goes, "I have Elizabeth Warren coming on." And he goes, "Okay." And then just throws it over. And I'm like, perfect. That's why you watch those things.
Someone didn't read the cue card right.
No.
Yeah, no.
And
They always enjoyed MTV back when they would actually show the VJs talking it to the next guy coming up.
Yeah, the handoff, the DJ handoff.
It was the VJ handoff and we used to when I was college radio, you sort of did that with the next person, but mostly you wanted to get let me grab my records and get out of here because you're taking over the bin.
Yeah.
But, there's an art to it. And then there's an unnecessary news doesn't need to hand to news.
No, it's a completely unnecessary thing that they still do, and I don't know why. And then there's an article in here about the World Series of Poker, which was kind of interesting because I feel like most people didn't even know that was a thing until like the late 90s when post swingers poker had that big comeback. And one of the most winning champions of the World Series of Poker, Steve Albini.
Oh, yes, Steve. I miss Steve. Steve was great on Twitter and Blue Sky.
He was the best.
The best story I ever heard about Steve, someone told me one time, I guess when after Urge Overkill became really successful with the Tarantino song on Pulp Fiction,
Girl, you'll be a woman soon.
Which I discovered was supposed to be a Red Cross song, but Miramax didn't want it. So I was like, wow, okay. So, but Steve had a beef with those guys, and so he was going around to the bathrooms and leaving a cassette tape labeled Urge Overkill demos for new record. And he was leaving them just laying around the bathroom. It was really some sort of demos for Enough's Enough.
That's very him.
So all these people are like, "Oh, this is horrible. Oh no, I don't know what they're doing. I
have to brag about this, and the listener won't see this, but these are Steve Albini's personal records that I own, that I got from his estate. This is a Soundgarden single of Room is a Thousand Years Wide, and his 7-inch copy of one of my favorite bands ever, The Sound, and it's their EP Heyday. And these are from his personal collection.
I got outbidded for the stuff I wanted.
These didn't go for very much at all.
Oh, man. Well, the stuff I wanted, unfortunately, was the tastier thing.
Yeah, there's still a bunch of stuff on there. A lot of VHS tapes and, interesting stuff that nobody cares about.
I'll have to look, maybe. Yeah, but Steve, I miss Steve's little caustic ways.
Yeah,
but
it was the best.
My favorite thing was because I had tried, back when poker was getting big, I had pitched an idea to ESPN, who already was not happy with me because of I did a game show for him. It was called Gators, which aired in 1994. We basically went around to NC State football, UNC Duke football games, and I think we went to a NASCAR race, and then we had to go some other places. And I'd come up with this game. Well, Graham Chapman had introduced me to it. It was called where he took a quarter and he would put it in his butt cheeks and walk and try to drop it into the stadium cup.
Sure.
And so I changed it up. So it was a golf ball, and you had to drop it. It was called butt putt. and you had to put it in the stadium cup and, clench it and move. I mean, people went nuts for this thing. They were crazy when we did it live, and ESPN executives were there, and they loved it. And then, like, Monday morning, we get a phone call. Do not do that ever again. And I just sat there thinking, I broke ESPN's will.
Yeah.
I found where their limit is.
Yeah.
And so I had come up with this great idea for a poker show. It was a kind of a newlywed game poker show. And the idea being that you had three or four couples would show up to play poker. And it was called Bet the House. And the idea was that one of those couples was going to walk away with like a brand new living room, a brand new kitchen, a brand new bedroom. But the deal was, in order to get into the game, we got to destroy their kitchen before they showed up.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And I was called a sadist. It was like
It's basically
that was horrifying.
it's basically Lone Shark, the game show.
But it's perfect because you knew that these people had something at stake if they didn't win.
Yeah.
It was like just the anger of, who knows? We'd probably get a divorce or two out of each episode at that point. Why did you think this was smart?
It's everything. It's reality TV, human nature. Yeah, I would have greenlit it.
Yeah, they held off on that. And then they also held off on one I pitched them. It was going to be poker cheaters versus magicians. And the idea being, if you caught the other guy cheating while playing poker, they had to, first if you caught him twice, they got kicked out of the game. The first time, they had to wear a tank top.
That's really punishing us, the viewer.
It was, but I was told pretty much by a producer who kind of was interested. He said, here's the problem. A, magicians don't want to be exposed on TV for their card tricks, especially if they're sloppy. And B, nobody wants to admit they know how to cheat at poker. So we can't get either of those people to show up.
You could get Ricky Jay to show up and play himself.
Well, see, Ricky Jay was the person we were attempting to get to as the host because we thought he'd be the perfect host for this weirdness. But no. So the world of poker did not want me messing up their game with desperately freakish ideas.
And to this day, I don't know how to play poker, and I don't think it's possible for me to learn how to play poker. I have looked at it. No idea. No idea.
I know enough so I can follow it when they do it on Price is Right, with the prize.
Yeah, I can do like high or low, and that's about it.
That's my addiction, by the way. The Bob Barker Price is Right 24/7 TV channel is, I think should be getting the first Nobel Prize for TV concepts.
It's a beautiful thing to have access to that, because I loved Buzzer, which Buzzer was the sort of digital cable precursor to the Tubi, all the different sort of fake cable things we have now that are great, that are just one thing all day. But it would be like 5 things all day. But then they were like, we hit on a thing. We mostly just show Sale of the Century and Price is Right. And then it was like, well, just do Price is Right.
But my favorite is favorite of the weirdness is the one where they merged Hollywood Squares with Password, and they had Bowser and Gene as the hosts, and so it was and they would just alter the show, alter the set, and then kick 3 people off or 4 people off when they did Password. So it was kind of a strange thing. And by the way, I got to tell the listeners, because we need a Bob Barker story, I guess.
Sure, of course.
If they have the Criterion channel, and I believe we're still on there, I produced and created 2 of the segments within the episodes for the Split Screen series that John Pearson hosts. And one of them features it was the Student Academy Award winning film by Randy Benson, one of my classmates at School of the Arts, called Man and Dog, about a rural animal control officer. And it's kind of a tough episode because it's basically how Randy, while shooting this thing, he realized at one point as he was, quote, helping the guy out that, oh God, I've gassed puppies.
Oh my good Lord.
That was the P. And we got Kevin Smith's wife got violently ill because of our sound mixing.
Yeah.
So it's not for, it's harsh. And it's just saying this is what happens. So, and we got Bob Barker to do the introduction. It was the sweetest thing. I called him up. I talked to his person and he's like, yeah, Bob will do it. And he read me what Bob was going to say. And he said, no, don't worry. We'll shoot it on the set. And there's Bob with the tiny microphone, the thin microphone, sitting on the set, and he introduces it. And it was so beautiful, Bob. And we sent him, all we sent him was, I sent him, he didn't want anything, but I sent him a school t-shirt, the Fighting Pickles. And, because so he could wear it when he jogged on the beach. And this was, when was this? About 99 or so. But it's on there. We also did one, AV Geeks, in which Tony Randall makes fun of a foreign country. And we show how a woman gives birth in the back of a police car.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, I've had dreams like that.
It's all for, it's for family entertainment. That's all I mean.
True, literal family entertainment.
It is.
So you picked this one, I'm presuming, because of the Grizzly Adams? Or just
we forgot
the year?
one other article. They had a big article on the best of Bernie Kovacs. And how I remember that as a kid. That was amazing. And, I remember glued to each episode. And I was bummed out it only last, because he only made, it was I guess it focused on the ABC specials, which I think there are either 9 or 10 of them.
Yeah, he did do a lot more television, but it was sort of lost either live or they wiped tapes or, so really the only thing we have are those 9 specials. And
I remember I covered the Shout Factory discs when they put them out years ago as box sets. And Josh Mills, I talked with him a lot because his mom is Edie Adams. And we talked quite a bit about, what she did to preserve Ernie's legacy. And his dad's a famous photographer out in LA. So he's, it's kind of interesting because you're basically helping preserve both your dad and your mom's ex-husband or mom's late husband.
Yeah.
I should say ex, but yeah. So it's just, that show is still, if you get all the DVDs, I think the other side of Ernie's Family controls a couple of the episodes which aren't out, which I don't get why they won't play ball. But
they're probably want an absurd amount of money. They're Richard P. Rubensteining it with the Dawn of the Dead 3D cut. They want an outrageous amount of money that no one will pay.
Yeah, or I guess Susan Hart's the best. Susan Hart's the one who owns all the AAP stuff that she's locked down. And as if somehow, there's that many copies of, I was a teenage werewolf that people are ready to buy. I'm like,
It's the same thing people who casually bought comic books in the 90s thinking that they would be worth billions of dollars, who show up at a comic store now to sell their 15 copies of Bloodshot #1. And the store's either I don't want these or I'll give you $1. And they're like, this is worth hundreds of dollars. It's the same kind of lack of awareness of the actual value of something.
I still have a complete set of Chaikin's Black Kiss in the plastic.
Black Kiss
that I
is
never
good.
took out. His plastic, not mine. and I ran. We were supposed to. He was supposed to be at some convention I was at a couple of years ago. I was going to go up to him with the issues and go, so you can open them up now. You can sign them, I guess.
My kids want to read these.
I'm not going to med school on this.
Yeah. Not worth saving.
But I do find out a lot of people do want way too much money. I remember a couple of years ago, because we had done a short interview. Bob Collins, who shot the pilot for Miami Vice, had done John Landis's first film, Schlock. Anchor Bay was putting it out on DVD at 2000 or so. And so we did an interview about it with them. And for some reason, Anchor Bay didn't want it and didn't tell me until the disc came out. I noticed we're not on it. And the guy called them up and they're like, well, the version you used wasn't good looking. So we didn't want people to think that's what our version looked like or some excuse. I'm like, okay. And then 20 years later, this company in Germany was putting it out. And I just got word to it. And basically, I dropped them an email and they write me back and they're like, yes, we want this. But they're like, how much do you want for it? I'm like, I don't know, send me some copies. Because I'm like, I know these things don't sell a fortune.
No, and it's not going to,
And so I'm just like, send me some copies. But 25 years later, our bonus feature shows up in it's actually on the Arrow version of Schlock.
Oh, nice.
So we're here too. But, we got free copies. So
it's a great commentary track on that disc where it's Rick Baker talking about first meeting Landis, and he goes, this guy, because Rick Baker was a teenager living at home, and he's like, this guy's in my house and he's swearing really loud. He's going to get in trouble for having Landis there.
That's John. John came out to the film school when I invited him out because, basically Bob Collins put me in touch with him, and it was fun to talk with, and we won't tell any other stories because I think I don't want to betray his trust. But anyway, but we learned a lot about the filmmaking process, and unfortunately we learned about the frustrations because we're like, so you're pretty much in the same boat as us, John, at this point, trying to get projects through. Great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had people on the show who are like, Oscar and Emmy winning directors and producers who are, you know, in their 70s and 80s now, but they're like, I don't know how you get anything made now. They're like, I can't get anything. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like,
Well, see, I worked for Cox Cable for 2 years, and I remember getting a phone call one night from Las Vegas. This guy's service had been cut off, and he was one of the executive producers on, oh God, I can't remember the name of the show. There were like 2 shows that had just come out on DVD. They just reissued them on DVD, and I'm like, dude, I'll turn your cable on, you know, because I'll do what I can do for it. I didn't realize I didn't realize Cox gave me, like, I think I could give somebody, you know, $250 worth of credit.
oh,
And I'm like, crap, I could be cutting on people's cable right and left if I felt like it. But
You're
yeah,
a
so it was
human
kind of
black
like,
box.
I enjoy doing what I do, and I hold no aspirations because I'm like, it comes and it goes so fast. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, for every person who makes a fortune and buys a house in Malibu, those people are selling their house 20 years from now. You know?
Oh yeah, it's peaks and valleys. Occasionally at my day job, it'll come up that, you know, I've done Style Forever podcast or whatever, or someone will have seen me do stand up, and then people will be asking me about like celebrities and stuff, and be like, oh yeah, I know that guy, whatever. And they're like, why do you work here? And I'm like, because I need money to
Yeah.
live. Like, I got to do cool stuff, but you know, it doesn't pay you anything, so that's why.
I think I remember when I worked at a bookstore one time, and my boss got upset because Bob Odenkirk called looking for me one day because I was supposed to do an interview with him. I was like,
He was mad about that.
no, yeah, he was just like, I don't think you're serious about this job as a career.
No, I'm
I was
not.
also working on that game show, the one where we did the Gator show. Finally, I had to quit because he was just giving. He decided. I was like, look, I need Saturdays, Saturdays and Sundays off because we need to shoot this for the next 4 weeks. And the first weekend he does, and then the next week, oh no, he books me those days, so I have to hustle to get people in, and he's upset. And I'm just like, dude,
It's a
I'm working at
bookstore.
a stinking bookstore. The bookstore went bankrupt 6 months after I left.
Of course, not because of that.
The best part was after he sort of fired me, but at that day, I went next door because I got the feeling things weren't going to go right. I went next door. There was a video store, VHS video rental store, and the manager there has always been coming up to me going, what's it going to take to get you to work for me? And so I went up there and said, hey, you still want me to work here? And he's like, yeah. I go, you can give me 40 hours, right? And he goes, oh, yeah, no problem. I'm like, good, I can start. And he's like, when? Oh, no, probably tomorrow. And so I go into the job, and the guy, and so later on in the day, I'm working there in the bookstore, and the bookstore manager, for some reason, quote, I've given him my 2 weeks notice and stuff. And he says, I don't know why. He goes, so when do you think you're going to get another job? And I'm like, and I looked at him, I said, yeah, I got it 3 hours ago. You know,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm tired. I'm like, I'm working next door.
I'll see you
okay.
every day still, buddy.
But he was just like, and then as I said, then the store, because I worked at the video store for about 6 months. Then I got to the School of the Arts, North Carolina School of the Arts, and where I was, my classmates were Danny McBride, David Green, the guy who played Meadow Soprano's boyfriend, and actually this friend of mine, George, his brother at the same time this guy was playing Meadow Soprano's boyfriend, his brother was the real boyfriend of Meadow Soprano, and it felt like you're crossing reality, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
I know both of her boyfriends.
It's a method actor, but he's not even
weird.
acting.
Yeah. So it was by that time the store got closed down. So it was like, well, great. So I could have chose this as a career and been unemployed. So
Yeah, it didn't matter.
way to go. Yeah. So it was he was a frustrating character because his family was loaded. And so once a year he would have to fly up to Boston to give out grant money from this family's, whatever it was, their little nonprofit foundation or whatever. And then he'd have to fly back, and his Volvo had this massive crack in the window that he drove around with for 2 years. And I'm like, wow, you're handing out checks and they won't say, hey, let's give you a little money to fix the
Yeah,
window.
let's grant you some money.
Yeah,
But
so
no.
craziness.
And that is
So where are we at now?
so-
the picture of Fish.
Yes.
The 2-story set for Fish with Abe Vigoda. That is just a beautiful work of production design. Hats off to the people who put that together. And Abe Vigoda needs a stamp. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
right now.
It's I love Barney Miller. Fish was not great. It was a case of a character that a little goes a long way, and then also taking a character who works in one format and then trying to put him in a completely, like, a thing that has nothing to do with the character. Like, the premise of the show is he basically is in charge of a bunch of orphans.
Yep.
And it just was weird. In looking at this set is extra strange because the set for Barney Miller is 2 rooms.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. And this thing is like a full house. Like, this is a giant set. And it is kind of cool to see because you know, in the days before the internet and whatnot, you rarely got to see like a television shooting set, like the full, here's what it looks like when, you know, from far away and when you can see everything, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, we should talk about Grizzly Adams.
Yes. So did you pick it because of Grizzly Adams is my question.
I did because I got to hang out with Dan Haggerty at the place you would not imagine you'd be hanging out with a, you know, basically a children's TV star. The Bunny Ranch.
That sounds about right. I think he was a regular there.
He was a regular. He would actually conduct wedding services at the Bunny Ranch. I had become friends with Dennis, or, you know, I don't know if you're pals with Dennis Hoff, because he would call me up to interview me right and left for the Bunny, anything happening at the Bunny Ranch. Don't judge me, people. Anyway,
it's legal, and hey, it was a thing.
Dennis invited me to his birthday party, and what I will say about Dennis Hoff's birthday party is it's the first party I've ever gone to where I thought, yeah, pretty much everybody's going to get laid here. You know, as long as you're clean and have good credit. Yeah, you're going to get lucky somehow, some way.
And that's just from Dan Haggerty.
That's Dan. So Dan was there with his kids. That was the best part. Oh, my God. Dan's there with his kids. I ended up talking to him for quite a bit because it's Dan Haggerty. I mean, you know, and Joey Buttafuoco's there, by the way.
Of course. So,
you know, and Joey, my favorite moment, it's 4 or 5 in the morning, and Joey Buttafuoco comes out and he goes, Joe, how are things going? And my first thought is, why does Joey Buttafuoco know my name? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, we're both Joes. There we go. And Joey was nice. Joey was nice to me, so I'll say that, you know. But so Dan told me 2 stories. Well, the first story was just how he basically bummed around for about a year. Him and William Holden were bumming around Europe, which was kind of cool. And the second story he told me was about, I'm not sure, it might have been the Elves movie, who knows, but he was promoting some film on some local TV station, and Phyllis Diller was also there. And someone asked Phyllis, what's your, or Phyllis or Dan asked him, what's up next for them? And they're like, oh, we're going to go back to the hotel and fool around. And so Dan says, after the interview and they're leaving, him and Phyllis are leaving, and Phyllis looks at him and goes, hey, are you kind of serious about that? Dan's like, sure, you know. And so Dan Haggerty had a one-night stand with Phyllis Diller. And he said the image that will always, and it's Thanksgiving. This is my Thanksgiving story. The thing that he remembers most is Phyllis laying in the bed with her her feet in the air, wearing those little booty socks.
Yeah.
And it somehow reminded him of the turkey when they have the little things on the ends of the turkey legs.
Well, the man loved his food.
Every Thanksgiving, I think of Phyllis Diller and Dag Haggerty knocking boots.
Haggerty's like one of those cartoons of a guy that's starving and he's looking at the other guy he's trapped on the island with, and he's like a big turkey leg or whatever.
That's it. That was Phyllis Diller that day. Yeah,
my God.
But and now the nice story about Dan Haggerty told us, and he pointed out how years after the show had wrapped, the grizzly bear who played in the movie, who's
Bozo.
really, or the movie and the TV show, whose name is Bozo, had lost its teeth. And that's kind of how in nature you end up dying as a grizzly bear.
Sure.
Your teeth fall out. And Dan paid for the bear to get some sort of dentures or implants. I think it was implants. And the bear lived for a couple more years. So Bozo lived a few more years because Dan loved that bear and wanted him to keep him around for a bit more.
He did his good deed. Yeah.
So Dan was an okay guy. And the good part was we talked because they were just, I think Shout Factory was just putting out the disc, the TV show on disc, Grizzly Adams, and they were trying to get to interview him, and he wasn't sure about it. And I said, Dan, you got to tell these stories to people about working on the show and stuff, please. You know, yeah. I mean, it's it's a couple hours, it's an hour of your day or whatever, a couple hours. I'm realistic, but and so he, so Dan, swell guy. Just, bizarre because you're sitting there and with hookers and Dan Haggerty. So, and Joey Buttafuoco.
Again, we've all had that dream.
It was the best, weirdest weekend of my life.
That's very strange, and that will never be topped. And it's nice to know when that happens, you're like, this will never be topped, and I know that for a fact. Like, I don't even have to worry about it.
Things have been topped in a weird way, but one involved taking Ben Stiller to the men's room at the movie theater from the theater that was showing There's Something About Mary right across the street. So I'm walking him into the men's room, pointing him towards the men's room, and I just said, "Be careful in there." You know,
Yeah.
it's like, that was a weird night too.
That is a strange. I
did get to meet Ann Mira and Jerry Stiller, and they were beautiful people.
Oh yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about them.
Yes, sir.
So let's dive into that. Saturday night. What are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, I thought Saturday morning.
Oh no, you want to go Saturday morning?
Heck yeah, we gotta go Saturday morning because that's where my life is. This is. So I guess we won't go too. Okay, so you got first talking about Barney Miller. We have Animals at 7:00. And I once met a producer on this show who had to do something with some bird and realized that the water they were wading through in some bog was just poop. Nice. And he was like, "Screw you, Hal Linden." So it's like,
because Hal Linden hosted that show. Yeah,
and then they have and for some reason they also have Dudley Do-Right and the Monkees.
Yeah,
up against this. This is insane. And then 7:30 we've got Kids from Caper, which was basically the Monkees without the singing.
Yeah.
As a bunch of 4 guys solving crimes, but everybody sang behind them. Don Kirshner was once again in charge of the music. And I just recently saw a record. They put out a soundtrack album. I did not know. But Neil Sedaka and Paul Schaefer are part of it.
That tracks, given the era. That's about right.
That's good. So I don't think there's actual episodes. I've only seen like portions of episodes. I don't think there's been a DVD release of the Kids from Caper. So it's kind of it's still one of those. If you remember, you'll remember.
It's not a high demand for that one.
No. It's not like Big John, Little John.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we got, it's 8:00, Tom and Jerry and Mumbly, which, they keep renaming that damn dog,
Yeah, they're like, this is going to work. It's got
work
to.
Again. And then we got Scooby-Doo and Dino Mutt, which, love Scooby-Doo.
Dino Mutt.
Hate Dino Mutt, but then Scrappy-Doo, really hate Scrappy-Doo.
Yeah.
So,
But Blue Falcon, cool character.
Blue Falcon was fun, and I enjoyed it when they brought him back for Harvey Birdman.
Yeah.
So, that's where I think most people know. Then 10:00, we got Speed Buggy. Can't do without Speed Buggy.
Yep.
I once heard some story of, it was a lie, I guess I was told, about how the background designer of Speed Buggy supposedly attacked one of the character drawers. But I think it's a lie.
But that was when Hanna-Barbera was like, look, we got the Scooby-Doo formula. Just do it with other things. So like Jabberjaw's on here. It's like, it's Scooby-Doo with a shark, and the shark is Curly from the Three Stooges, and they're in a band. And then Speed Buggy, it's like, it's Scooby-Doo, but the mystery machine is Scooby-Doo.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's just, that's the thing. The more they went for the band thing, because, then they could put records on the back of cereal boxes.
Oh, yeah.
I used to get those and try to, I was a little kid. I didn't know about having to look for the grooves, and to make sure my box wasn't scratched up.
Yep. I have the Monster Cereal one, or the Flexi disc that they had on there.
I've only heard that on YouTube. So yeah. And then we've got, let me see, 10:30, the Croft Super Show, which, I've got to say, last 2 years, I got to know Sid Croft because he came to town, and it was fun. Me and my kid brought him a birthday card last year because the first time we met him, it was his birthday. We didn't have a card for him then, but he had some great stories. His story about growing up in the circus was just beautiful. And he fell in love with I think she was a trapeze artist, and his only friend was the guy who had no face.
It's basically the plot of Freaks.
It is. Well, they did make a movie of it, although he said it was pretty bad, so don't look it up. It's like, but I miss it. And I actually got to interview Marty too. And Marty had sent my kid the H.R. Puffin stuff bobblehead when I told him I had a kid.
Nice.
So it was kind of fun that I got to at least introduce, I talked with both, and, my kid has been demented by the world of Croft.
I have one of those Sleestack banks.
Yeah. Really those are cool.
Which is fantastic. I do want to point out at 9:30, they're showing a Western. This is 9:30 on a Saturday morning. They're showing the 1962 Western, Rider on a Dead Horse.
Wow. It's like,
What a badass name for, some
That is-
kid between Dino Mutt and Tarzan is watching Rider on a dead horse.
somebody's got a lazy dad,
Yeah.
who didn't drag you out to the, what do you call it? My dad used to, see, this is around the time when Dad would get angry and go, we're going to the wood store to look for 2x4s, and my dad had the unique ability. My father, who's still with us, West Pointer and stuff, West Point engineer, he would take us to like Lowe's Lumber and all these other lumber places, and I swear to God, he would go through an entire bin of wood, giant piles of 2x4s, looking for one that A, didn't have knots in the places he didn't want knots, and B, weren't warped. And it was just hours of endless.
I was talking about it the other day. I have so many hours of childhood memories of being dragged to Grossman's, which was like a Home Depot type store, and Somerville Lumber, which was the other store. And I'm like, I don't really remember my dad building anything or really buying, but I feel like we had to go there all the time. And then the other place I remember being dragged to all the time were like lighting stores that just sold lamps, but we never bought any. I don't know why we were there all the time.
They're looking at the future. My dad built things. I've got 2 bookcases that he built that are really nice, and this giant record cabinet behind me. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's hefty.
It opens up.
Oh, that's very cool. It's deep. So
There's like
it's
3 rows and stuff. And so, I've been carrying that with me since 1989. It's like it lumbers with me. But so he's done. He built like this giant Quonset hut work shed in his backyard at one point. So he did a lot of a lot of woodworking. Plus we did record crates. If you ever look at Oak Moon Orchard record crates, we designed it. So they were.
So he was actually using the products.
Yes, we were. The 2x4s went to work. I think at that point he was looking to make his own patio furniture.
One of the Home Depots we used to go to is featured in the first Equalizer film, where Denzel Washington's just murdering people left and right in the Home Depot. And that's what we used to go to when I was a kid.
My parents, I brought them to watch. I brought over a copy of Friends of Eddie Coyle, and it turned out to be a home movie. It's like, oh yeah, there's the Friendlies where you and me and your dad would go for dates when I worked next door at the what the hell was it? It wasn't Mammoth Mart.
Oh, was it Stop and Shop? I think it's Stop and Shop.
No. It was the it's in Dedham. It was in the Dedham Mall area. But she worked there for a while. Woolworths. She worked at the Woolworths. Yeah. So, and then the bank they rob is like one that my parents used, one my dad's family used. So I was like, oh wow, don't tell me you guys shot someone at a Bruins game.
We all have. Number 4, Bobby.
Probably my grandfather, who was a Teamster, probably had to take out some people. Yeah. I don't know.
Robert Mitchum in that movie reminds me exactly of my grandfather.
It's once again brilliant film, and I don't know why Tarantino just hates that movie because I think it's better than anything he's ever done.
That's why he hates that movie.
Yeah,
he couldn't even rip that off.
So during Croft Super Show, we get Monster Squad, Batman, and Zoom. And Zoom was great because my cousins who lived in West Roxbury, one of their neighbors got to be a Zoom kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about the rules till later that you weren't supposed to be a professional acting kid.
Mm-hmm.
So all these kids who were on it, that was their fun for like 5 years. They couldn't go off and cash in. And
they were all Boston just like kids because it was shot here at WGBH.
It was a brilliant little show. And then 11 o'clock, Shazam and ISIS. Oh, yeah, ISIS. We must watch ISIS.
For people who don't know and only know ISIS as the terrorist organization.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
This is ISIS, the Filmation original character who's like basically Wonder Woman, but instead of like Greek god heritage, it's like Egyptian ISIS god.
And she has one of those Volkswagen things.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what she cruises. And some other cute chick with her as her little sidekick.
Yeah. So. But you passed up Frankenstein Jr. in Space Ghost, and I love Frankenstein Jr. I have a giant Frankenstein Jr. right off screen here. I love that show.
I have that on disc. So, there's just so much. I mean, they gave you so much. It was but the good part was there were so few weeks of it so that you could restart your Saturday morning watching 14 weeks later and get to see another network. And then the
totally
other one.
Forgotten. Yeah.
And then summer hits. I mean, that's the best part. And then, let me see, 11:30, Big John, Little John with Robbie Rist.
Yep, former guest of the show.
Finally met him when he was doing some turtle stuff here.
Awesome dude.
and I'd known him from online, from, we'll just say the site formerly known as Twitter, although I know him from Blue Sky too. So, yeah. And then Land of the Lost at noon, once again, Sid Marty Krofft. 12:30, Arc 2.
Yes,
Arc 2
Filmation.
with the talking chimp.
Live action.
And the hot girl, and then the weird Swedish-looking guy. So, as they roam around in the greatest RV on TV history.
That was along with Space Academy. Like, Filmation had these really weird, in production prior to Star Wars, but like Star Wars rip-off feeling live action shows that if you think Filmation's animated shows, I don't know why I said animated so weird there. Animated shows are weird. Their live action shows, even more low budget and strange.
Oh, you know it. And then we've got the Children's Festival with Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. And I mentioned this one because I think this is a show that really got a lot of kids interested in watching foreign films when they got old enough to get into an R-rated art house. I remember a bunch of shows on there. And so we'd watch it. And this is the worst part because this is the main TV guide, not the Boston one. So we're not going to get to watch the Creature double feature. No,
TV 56 did not make its way up to Maine at that time. It did in the 80s, but not in 77. And the Children's Film Festival was a massive influence on MST3K. Joel Hodgkins talked about how that and Silent Running are like his kind of two touch points for MST3K.
It really, and I could see it with the the way the bots work is the same way with the puppets, but. I'm going to guess those Coleman movies are not the same as some of the stuff they showed on the Children's Film Festival. No one walked away from the Children's Film Festival going, I never,
No.
And then we've got Rangers versus Red Sox because it's got Yaz Fisk and Bob Montgomery, a man who impressed. He was so nice. My Aunt Mary, she would do the fishing licenses in Dedham.
Okay.
At the government center. And Bob would come in there and get his fishing license. And he was always nice to her. And my cousin, Michelle, now works at the Boston Sports Museum and knows Bob and told her the story that I told him about my aunt. And he sent me a wonderful signed photo a couple years back.
Oh, that's very nice.
That's proudly up there. Because who remembers Bob Montgomery? I mean, but granted, 10 years as the catcher behind Fisk for the Sox. So,
Catchers always get the short stick.
In a way. Hometown famous. Okay, then we got, I guess, 5 o'clock Star Trek. I'll watch that. Beretta, because my dad used to work with Edward Grover's sister on a construction site, Beretta's boss. So I feel bad because, talk about the royalty train really coming to a complete closure for him.
Yes.
No one's going to want to watch Beretta. The man who... His excuse was I couldn't shot my wife because I went back to the car to get my gun
to shoot my wife. Beretta. Most shows that a murderer starred in tend not to get a lot of reruns.
It's it's sad, But hey, some people have standards.
Yeah.
It's like then we got Happy Days at 7 because we got to catch up on Happy Days because I wasn't in the country for the first season.
Right.
7:30, Andy Williams show with the Osmonds, Waylon Flowers, and Madam. Classic.
Oh boy, that is America at its something.
It is. And then we've got the Ernie Kovacs show, so we got to watch that. And then Bob Newhart's Christmas Dinner.
In June.
Yep, it's a good one. And then there was some show, I think it was a movie called Oasis in Space.
Yes, a documentary.
Does not feature the Gallagher brothers, sadly. No.
It's one of those 70s terrifying eco fright documentaries. The global food picture is outlined by comparing population growth with efforts to increase food productions. Topics include overfishing.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean they were on some there. There is now I can't remember the name of the movie. It was a documentary. It won the Oscar. The Hellman Chronicles or something.
Oh yeah. The with the bugs, with the insects, right?
Yeah. And I got in an argument with Roger Moore one time, Michael Moore one time, because he's head of the documentary committee and it was a full frame, and I was like, you need to pull the Oscar from that movie because it's fictional for crying out loud. It's a fake scientist.
Yeah, it's like the Hellstrom Chronicles or something.
Hellstrom Chronicles. And I was like, I guess he did not want to open up that can of whoop ass.
It's as much a documentary as Faces of Death is.
I think yeah. There were no real monkey brains,
No.
so I was kind of disappointed there.
There's a movie I've never seen on at 9 o'clock that sounds amazing, and it's
Which
a
one?
Western called More Dead Than Alive. Already cool, right? From 1969. And it stars Vincent Price and Anne Francis.
Whoa.
I've never even heard of this.
Well, they cranked out westerns, man, especially 60s.
This stars Clint Walker as a former gunfighter who finds it tough to put his violent past behind him after 18 years in prison. Vincent Price and Anne Francis. I can't even think of a Western with Vincent Price in it.
Baron of Arizona.
Okay.
That's Sam Fuller, the one where he swears he's the one who owns Arizona.
I love Sam Fuller.
So it's a classic.
Worcester's
Classic.
own Sam Fuller.
Yes. I once tried to get a hold of him and couldn't. And yeah.
He didn't want to talk Return to Salem's Lot with you?
No, I don't know what the situation was, but the problem was I was supposed to be getting hooked up with this magazine. I wasn't going to approach him until I got the
Gotcha.
And then the magazine went under, which is story of my life.
Yeah. So that is Saturday. We've gone to Sunday?
Sunday. Oh, wait, but we have Saturday Night Live with George Harrison and Paul Simon.
Yes, this is the infamous, not infamous, but famous one with the sketch with the follow-up to the I Have This Check for You, the Beatles, If You Reunite, with George Harrison confronting Lorne Michaels. And he's like, I thought you understood that was for all four Beatles, isn't it?
Yeah. And then also we have right before that wrestling or the Peter Marshall Variety Show with Avery Schreiber.
Almost ready to do Galaxina the next year.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of Avery Schreiber, it sounds like.
Avery Schreiber is a phenomenon I never understood. He was huge for about a 10-year period, like mid-70s, mid-80s. And I never disliked him, but I was just like, why does everyone seem to know this guy?
I think it was more of his live stuff, I guess, with Jack Burns.
Yeah.
So, where's Jack Burns? You got to figure out why Jack Burns. And it's like, he did Muppet Show, Hee Haw,
Fridays.
hosted Saturday Night Live, and Fridays. So it was like,
Got in a fight with Andy Kaufman.
Yep. So, he's out there, but you have to hunt him down.
I believe he was a Boston guy as well, Jack Burns.
Yes. So, okay. So what do we got now? Oh, we got Sunday morning. I'm not watching no Bible stuff. We got your Big Blue Marble, sponsored by IBM.
Yep.
That was a good show because it told us of interesting people around the world, unlike 90 Day Fiancé.
Yes. Yes. And focusing on kids and teenagers like doing stuff out in the world.
I think this one had kid runs feed store at a zoo, which could also be how to get around child labor laws.
And teenagers undergo winter survival training in the mountains of Wyoming.
There you go. Although my favorite thing now is some commercial, and it's got some kid doing. All these kids doing little things so they can raise money for their bank account or whatever. And one kid's doing haircuts, and I'm thinking that is illegal. You have to have
a license for that. There's some health and safety kind of things there. Yeah.
You're cutting off people's ears for crying out loud.
It's a good gig.
Your kind is good. Okay, 7:30, Jetsons or Fat Albert. Well, I guess Jetsons wins because it's too early in the morning to see Bill Cosby at this point.
That's true.
Arc 2, because I want more of that talking monkey in a van.
Yep. 2 days in a row.
Super Jane. Bullwinkle at 9. 9:30, Land of the Lost. 11 o'clock, Electric Company. And then we got Villa Agra. Villa Agra, which I kind of remember it was this Spanish language PBS show.
I have some tapes of that. In tape trading years ago, I got a lot of beta tapes, and there was some of that on some of the tapes.
Yeah, and then we get the Brady Bunch at noon, and Bobby finds a wallet with $1,100, which I didn't run the numbers, but that's a lot of money for 19.
That's like $100,000.
That probably is. If he had invested it in IBM stock, through the roof.
He wouldn't have had to be a failed race car driver in the Brady's.
No, he wouldn't have to. And then he was he the one who married Martha Quinn?
No, that was Greg.
Great. Okay. Someone married Martha Quinn on that show. I love Martha. We'll talk later. And then we got Red Sox again versus the Rangers. More Yaz or Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I don't know.
The original, because this is before the remake, so we're talking the 50s Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
There's no Leonard Nimoy in this one. Nope. Okay, and then we got 5:30, Crockett's Victory Garden, because, I think Crockett was still alive at this point, so it's his garden.
That was filmed at WGBH.
There you go. Anne Murray Variety Show, because I can't get enough variety from Anne Murray. What's happening? And this was a very consequential episode. It is rerun hooking up with his old pals from the Lockers,
Yep.
who were like the original popping, moving and, breaking and busting and all stuff. And Wolfman Jack, who I once met when he opened up the McDonald's in Raleigh at a McDonald's. It was the most beautiful McDonald's I'd ever been in. They redid it. It was an old movie theater, and they redid it so it looked like a theater. It had mirrors and this wonderful stuff all over it. There's photos of it online, and it's just brilliant. It used to be a porn house.
Of course.
That was the best part. It was a place that would show porn all day, then it would show a foreign film, and then some days it would just show all porn, and then at midnight it would show Time Bandits.
Probably still cleaner.
Why do they do that?
than when it was a McDonald's.
Yeah, and the McDonald's came after they shut it down, like 1984. But I found out why they kept running Time Bandits was because the distributor, I guess, never asked for the print back.
Oh.
And so they just kept running it and keeping the money.
It's worth seeing.
I can tell that story now because I guess everybody involved is dead.
Because I killed them. My favorite thing about this What's Happening show description, it says, the Dancing Rockets, played by the Lockers, offer a job to overweight rerun, but not because he's light on his feet. What they really want is a fall guy for their fat jokes.
No. But yet he was one of the key members.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, he was the most spry one there.
But I guess they have to do something in the episode other than admit rerun is one of them. I think they also showed up in Saturday Night Live this year.
Yeah.
Or was it the year before?
I think it was this year.
They were big. And then, of course, 8 o'clock, only one place to go, $6 Million Man.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Columbo, but okay.
Well, we'll go with Columbo, too, because, I flip. I'm a flipper.
Fair enough.
And so we got Columbo with Shatner.
Yep.
And Shatner's on my list because last year he called me a weird person, a weird guy. So I'm not sure what to do.
He's done that to me as well. Not only Shatner, Walter Coing is in this episode too.
Oh, yeah. They were both there.
Yeah.
They were Walter, and they avoided each other. I don't know what the deal is. I figure when you're that old, you should be nice to people.
They hold grudges.
Remember.
They hold grudges.
And Shatner's there. Then we got Suicide Run with Cliff Robertson and Henry Fonda at 9. And then the movie that I must watch, Corey for the People. Yes, that is Corey for the People, but it is not my life. It is John Rubinstein from Family playing, and of course, my favorite movie, The Car, where he gets run over. He's the horn player who gets run over by the demonically possessed car. And he plays Dan Corey, so he's not Joe Corey. So it's not like,
no relation.
That's the sad. No relation. And I guess the other show against it, some Joy of a Show.
I don't even know what that is.
But it's Robert Blake is in it. It's a great lineup. Robert Blake, killer, and then you get Charles Corral, bigamist.
Yeah.
And then Yves Saint Laurent, man who wasn't told he was dying of brain cancer by his lover and doctor.
Perfect.
So Eve comes out the best, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's the only actual victim there. When we go to Monday, two things I want to point out. One, there's an ad in here for the Disney Book Club series, and you get this free extra bonus that's like a plastic Mickey book rack, and I had that book rack. I got it at like a yard sale or a flea market or something as a kid. I didn't have any of these books, but I had just that random Mickey book rack that I kept Fangorias and comic books in for years. It's like this blue plastic Mickey book rack. And then the second thing is, because we're in the summer, there's some summer series here, and there's a very strange phenomenon. Sheards and Yarnell, which are two mimes who had their own TV show for the summer of 1977. And, you'd think two mimes being the front people for a TV show, probably not a good idea. And you'd be right.
Oh, yeah. It was, but yet I sold the Dynamite magazine with them on it.
But that's at least photographs. So, like.
They showed. Oh, I know what they did. They showed up in the conversation.
Yes.
Coppola's The Conversation, or at least he did. He was part of the park when they were, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But yeah, he's in the park scene at the beginning.
Shields and Yarnell. The mimes who had a summer series.
And Joanna Cassidy is the guest star. So
been on the show.
Go. Yeah. Oh, and during the morning though, let me see what we got in the morning here. We're going Captain Kangaroo. Here's Lucy, which I guess somewhere in Boston, didn't they run I Love Lucy. Then they ran the Lucy Show, and then they ran Here's Lucy. So you got a 90-minute Fish Lucy block. Get to watch her blossom.
Get more and more terrifying as the time goes by.
Yeah, and then we got Price is Right. And then Wheel of Fortune, back when they were having ceramic dogs as giveaway
Get the rest on a gift card.
I'm telling you that I think the ceramic dog industry just plummeted when Wheel of Fortune just decided no longer to give those things away.
No one ever picked it.
Oh, no, people would because they get stuck at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you've got $110 left, and oh, look at that dog staring at you.
He's the only thing that costs $110.
Ugh. Well, no, then you get like $50 to go to a store where everything costs too much. What else we got? We got Match Game. We got Tattletales. We got Hollywood Squares with, get this, Richard Anderson from $6 Million Man, Oscar Goldman, George Gobel, who I don't know why I always remember the phrase, like George Gobel's child, I was born to be mild. And of course, Gabe Kaplan.
Yes, the phenomena that was Gabe Kaplan.
This is followed up by the Liars Club, which is, once again, I'm going to say it right now, more star-studded than any show deserves to be. Nipsey Russell, the Poet Laureate of America, Betty White, Pat Buttram from Green Acres. Yes, Mr. Haney, probably going to sell him some stuff.
Now in Congress as John Kennedy.
And 1996's People's Sexiest Man Alive, Larry Hovis from Hogan's Heroes. I don't know if that's legitimate.
That's probably not true. No, he would have been before.
If I say it enough, AI will declare it.
Yeah, he would have been pre-Mock Hammond.
Yeah. See, that was the thing. I've discovered if you say something enough, AI will somehow decide it's real. Like I decided Haro Video is hosting Kung Fu June this year. And when I typed in Kung Fu June, it said Haro Video is having a special Kung Fu June year.
AI is very susceptible to The Secret.
Yep. It is manifest. Okay, then we go Gong Shows and Match Game. Oh wait, okay, so and 2 o'clock, $20,000. Oh yeah, okay. Read a book at 1:30. 2 o'clock, $20,000 Pyramid with Marion Ross and Adam Arkin.
Oh, so nice. Adam Arkin, interesting.
There. Yeah, Adam. Then run to the 7-Eleven for a Slurpee at 2:30. 3:30 Match Game with more A.V. Schreiber.
Can't get enough of that Schreiber.
Can't get, because didn't he sell nachos or something, or Doritos?
I think so.
Yeah, he was great with that. Gong Show and Little Rascals up against each other. And then we got 4:30 Gilligan's Island against Partridge Family. Why must I choose?
Oh, Gilligan's, no contest.
It probably is. It was. I always remember 56 did a big thing where it was back-to-back Gilligan's Islands.
Yeah.
And they acted like it was so revolutionary. And I'm like, years later I discovered Gilligan's Island only lasted 3 seasons.
Yeah. 56 would do Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie in an hour, Monsters, Addams Family in an hour, and then Gilligan's Island got its own hour back-to-back.
There you go. And Monkeys. A lot of Monkeys. Okay, then 5:30 you get The Odd Couple. It's the Bobby Riggs episode. Oh yeah, Bewitched was on after that. And then 6 o'clock, once again, Zoom. I am always watching Zoom because they put a bunch of the episodes online a couple years ago, and I started watching. It was amazing. It was such a cool little show, and
it's very strange.
They highlighted good kids. I remember the guy who animated did his own little animation of what it was like going to the Boston Garden on the tee on the tee. So that was good. Okay, what we got? We got Hogan's Heroes at 6:30, Adam 12 at 7, Phyllis at 7:30 for my, Phyllis needs. 8 o'clock, Jeffersons. George learns the ugliness of selling your company to a corporate overlord.
I love the anti-corporate, anti-consumerism of some mainstream 70s shows you wouldn't expect it from.
I love the fact that, he's got a deluxe apartment in the sky, and you look at that kitchen and think, oh my God, nobody would want that now.
No.
Which, that's how far we've come. He has no granite. He has no granite in that kitchen.
And because we're in the summer, they're burning off pilots. So up against that rerun of the Jeffersons is a pilot called Walkin' Walter. Walkin' Walter is a free-spirited ex-vaudevillian who contently freeloads on his long-lost brother's wife and her 2 foster children. This is a pilot for a series that is not on ABC's announced fall schedule. Walter is played by someone named Spodiote.
Drinking wine, Spodiote?
Spodiote, that's the person's name. I presume they're an actual old vaudeville guy named Spodiote.
Yes.
I'm going to have to look up Spodioti. There's probably people listening being like, how could you not know who Spodioti is? But this was Spodioti's big shot at his own sitcom that apparently just didn't fly.
Wow. No. That is, yeah. And then what we got here? Shields and Yarnell. Gotta watch that.
Of course.
You know, it's part of that. You know, I tried to explain to somebody. I was like, yeah, you think reality shows are bad. Back when I was a kid, they gave everybody variety shows. And it seems true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we got Maude. Walter's loan falls through.
Walter, played by another Bostonian, from Revere, actually.
And then we get what the hell? Carol Burnett, Alan Alda in same time next year, or is that Four Seasons? That's Four Seasons.
4 seasons, yeah.
Now, see, the thing was, I always got that confused with Same Time Next Year. So, you know, old people having affairs movies thing, or do they have? I don't know, but to me they did. Then we got Carson. Johnny Carson's got Burt Reynolds, David Steinberg, and Helen Reddy. So you kids get ready for Helen Reddy.
I was never a big David Steinberg fan. I never really saw the appeal. People kind of forget about him now, but he was just like, he was, for a time, was like the heir apparent to Carson.
He was, you know, it was kind of like the in between that Carson and Dick Cavett.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seemed kind of smart, but kind of, you know, a little down. But yeah.
So Spodioti is Samuel F. Third, an American singer, songwriter, actor, and comedian. He performed under the names Lovin' Sam F. and Spodioti. Was born in New Orleans, 1904. Died in 1982. So he's old in 1977.
Yeah, he is. And especially in the 70s, when being in your 70s made you really old.
Yeah, he started working with a circus in 1923.
That was your start. I mean, where else were you going to go in 1923? I mean,
wow.
Sit around and wait for TV to be invented.
His first hit song and his best known song is called I'll Be Glad When You're Dead.
Oh, it's a classic. I do know that song. I don't know if it's the same one.
He was big in the Apollo Theater in Harlem in the 30s and 40s. Okay. I feel bad I didn't know Spodioti. He was on Sanford & Son, Little House on the Prairie. So, all right, so he had sort of a resurgence at this time when they were like, we're going to give his own show.
That's it. And they want to give him a break, man. That was good.
And ironically, no one was glad when he was dead.
No one was glad when Spodioti passed away. Except for someone who sold wine Spodioti.
That's true.
Yeah. And then, let me see, 1240, we got Night of Dark Shadows movie.
The second movie, I think, right? The second theatrical R-rated movie, I think.
I think so, but, you know, they toned it down
of
for
course,
CBS.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe the CBS night movie is coming back.
It's late
thanks
night,
Thanks to we'll see how long Byron Allen lasts with his 2 hours of
his infomercial, his terrible infomercial.
Yeah. Oh, my God. See, I made up a joke, like, geez, back in the late 90s when he had his hanging with Byron Allen show. And it was like you had to drink. It was a drinking game that involved his guest, you know, whether he looked like he just ambushed the guy in the hallway while hanging out staking out the ice cooler and ice machine. And then, you know, he's like somehow made money. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't really and a lot of money. He's like very wealthy.
Yeah. I mean, he bought the Weather Channel at a dime.
He did.
And although you can flip to Toma with Tony Musconti, who I know is the star of Bird with Crystal Plumage by
me too.
Dario Argento.
Which
fantastic movie.
Was apparently a big Toma was apparently huge in Europe, which is why he starred in Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
He did some other movie. I can't remember what, but damn it, I can't. Well, some other great time. I mean, I miss the fact you used to be able to, you know, an American actor can go over to Italy and make about 18 films in 3 weeks.
Call that John Saxonen.
It was, man. It was a beautiful time. I mean, you know, you get it, where else in the world would, you know, Lee Van Cleef become the star he deserves, except Europe.
Before Tuesday, there's an ad in here for a thing called the Natural Water Pill.
Oof.
And it says, lose water bloat with Ardrenil, nature's way. Lose excess body water, puffiness, weight bloat, a gentle diuretic compound. And the picture on the carton is just this like rail thin woman with a cigarette in a bikini and giant sunglasses.
Man, that's somebody's mom.
It's the most 1977 looking depiction of a woman I can imagine.
Somebody's grandmother is there. That's it.
And then on the next page is this thing called the skinny suit, which you can lose 6 to 9 inches from your waist in 3 days.
3 days. I like the full color TV star posters.
Oh yeah, that's what you get your Farrah poster.
Get your. I still have my Farrah Fawcett poster hanging up somewhere.
Yeah, Elvis, Farrah Fawcett. You get all the posters.
Can't miss the Farrah Fawcett.
Tuesday, what are you doing?
Tuesday we got Grizzley Adams, of course, and then to tell the truth, with guess who's on it? Nipsey Russell, because people couldn't get Nipsey Russell. 7:30, Candid Camera, which I worked on.
The 90s one?
On it. No, yes, the 90s one with Dom DeLuise.
Yeah.
I was part of Dom's crew, and I came up with the greatest stunt ever, or gag ever, and because they just wanted to have Dom try to drive funeral directors nuts and see how wild his thing could be. And I came up to the producer. I was only a PA on it, mind you, lowly PA who got the food and stuff.
And Bob Perlow was on that show as well.
I think so. I don't think he was part of our crew, but we just had Dom because he was at the Duke Diet Center.
Of course.
Not the Rice Diet. It's some other diet center thing. But he, but the idea was Dom had a friend who died, and Dom needs to put together the funeral arrangements. And the friend wants to be buried in his car, a Mercedes, and he was a big carpooler, so he needed 3 more dead people to be buried with him.
That sounds like sounds reasonable.
And then he wanted to be with the Diamond Lane thing on his grave and stuff. And we discovered 2 things from that sketch. First off, funeral home directors have no sense of humor and will say yes and try to do whatever they can for the grieving people. Mm-hmm. And second, many of them had left grieving people and were not happy when they realized they were on Candid Camera.
No, and wouldn't be making money for that funeral.
Right, and it was like, it just exploded in there. And thus my genius sketch did not make it on the air. I think I was punished later on with this weird sketch where they had little puppies. And these kids were supposed to line up the puppies so Dom could take a photo of them. And once one puppy started to take a poop, they all did. And my job was clean the poop up.
Nice. So Dom was not happy with you.
No, Dom was okay with me. It was right after that, I guess, Dom was outed by the National Enquirer. So that kind of got wild.
Are you telling me that Dom DeLuise was a gay man?
I'm just saying the National Enquirer said. What I can tell you is one of Dom's sons ran up a massive 900 phone bill.
Oh, I probably could guess who it was. I'm not saying it's Peter.
I'm not going to guess. I'm not going to guess what they called. But I had to explain to Dom that all you need to do is call the phone company and tell them, hey, somebody who was not authorized was making these calls. I don't want to pay for them. And they will stop payment, but they will also disconnect your ability to ever use these numbers again, which Dom didn't care for.
Yeah.
Or maybe he did.
Yeah.
And, so that's why I didn't like Reality Bites, because, Winona Ryder could have covered her butt on that, her phone bill.
She knew what she was doing.
She did. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I have a friend of mine. No, I'm honest with you. I have a friend of mine years ago worked in New York City, and he worked at one of the fashion places. The high-priced little boutique stores. And basically, he would just have the security cameras follow Winona the entire time she was there, and he would write down what she pocketed.
Yep.
And send the bill to her manager.
Yep, I bet that happened a lot of places.
So Barney's was not a one-off deal.
Yeah, they just
except they had an agreement how this was going to...
Right, they just didn't know how to invoice correctly.
Yeah, the manager originally was going to fight him, and he said, I have it on video. Do you want me to send this to somebody? And thus the words, where do we need to deliver the check to, came out of the manager's mouth.
Of course.
So, okay, so we got... So we told Candy Camera stories and stuff. Faulty Towers, because it's John Cleese, and it's one of the greatest shows ever. 8:30, Laverne and Shirley, because of Michael McKean.
Of course. A man who always seemed 40, but also never ages.
I feel bad. One of the saddest parts about Twitter is, and I guess Michael McKean's busy too, but leaving Twitter is I no longer have the ability to converse back and forth on Twitter with Michael McKean.
Yeah, the best.
And just wonderful human being. Loved the Spinal Tap movies. So, it was fun watching him getting made. And so, I remember Michael once tipping me off to the Youngbloods' first record, and it was so amazing.
And a great musician, amazing taste. The Lenny and Squiggy Christmas song they do in Laverne and Shirley, that Jolly Fat Man, should be a perennial Christmas hit. And I don't know how it is.
It should. They were pretty much given free reign on that show. He told me there was no. It just would basically say, Lenny and Squiggy do something.
Yep.
That was it. That was it. Just here's how much time you got. Make something funny.
That shows up on screen.
Yeah, and it does. It's a little higher level. Their interaction's higher level than the rest of the group.
They have a different. Yeah, they're in a different show most of the time.
So now 9 o'clock, policewoman, militants at a sleazy hotel. Oh yeah, we're there. Anything with a sleazy hotel in the 70s, I'm there. And then Kojak at 10 o'clock, high fashion model hostage during fur heist.
I mean, I'd watch that anytime.
And then Then we get Wolfman Jack Variety Show with Johnny Rivers.
Oh, interesting.
So this is, I guess he had split off at this point from Midnight Special. Well, it was 77, so I think the Night Special's wrapping up.
Yeah, because Rock Concert was still going on. Although, no, Midnight Special, because I think Midnight Special went on longer, like after Wolfman Jack was gone, because that's when they started having the bands host. Because the Cars episode, I think, is from like 81. Okay,
yeah, they probably went on till at least deep into MTV times.
Yes.
But I enjoyed they're putting the old episodes up uncut on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
And so it's been great. And then let me see what we got. And Wolfman Jack, met him when they opened up the porn theater at McDonald's.
Yep.
And we talked about King Crimson performing on the show, because that's what I did back in the 80s.
There's a special sauce joke somewhere in there that I'm not going to make.
Oh, Wolfman. Well, see, Wolfman was in good spirits. I was told he was at some parade outside of Boston one time, and they wouldn't give him the Corvette he wanted because that was the mayor's car. So he spent the entire time being driven down the parade route, giving people the finger. That's the story I heard.
Have you ever seen the 2-part Galactica 80 Halloween episode with Wolfman Jack?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
My God, that's how I'd like to remember Wolfman Jack.
Well, I adore Wolfman. I don't think he should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't get why those bastards won't put him in, and won't put the guys from Hypnosis for album covers in. They're weasels. They just, if they can't sell some rubber chicken, they're gonna be
pay to play.
Pay to play. And then let me see, 11:30 we got McLeod as a drug dealer, or you can watch Jay Leno on Carson.
I'm good with that. Don't need to watch that.
There you go. And then the Tomorrow Show, and I'm telling you right now, it is wake the family up, set your alarm clocks. Tomorrow Show, Evel Knievel.
Tom Snyder, Evel Knievel. That's a great episode. You can watch it now.
Did Evel start hitting that the wild turkey he hid in his cane during that show?
Oh yeah. Well, you can never tell if he was drunk or had brain damage or both.
He was just mean.
Yeah.
The thing with what killed Evel Knievel? He forgave Kanye West.
Oh yeah, you don't do that.
This is a man who was going to beat up somebody who made fun of him when they were 7.
Yeah.
That's how long this man could hold a grudge. Yeah. And I don't think his body could deal with the fact that he said, "Oh, I'm good with what Kanye did."
It's just eventually. Like this, you've broken time, and your soul can no longer inhabit this body.
The spleen is gone. Okay, Wednesday, Muppet Show with Ruth Buzzy. God, I miss her. She was great on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. Yeah. She, until the end, that woman just made me laugh. It's just weird jokes and stuff. I miss her. Miss her dearly. Good times. Family wins lottery, gets robbed. Never tell anyone you won the lottery. Rule number 1. I always loved that woman years ago. I guess she claimed people thought she won the lottery in Maryland, which is a state where you don't have to admit if you won the lottery.
Yeah, Mass you do.
And I'm like, why would you even tell people that you won the lottery? All you got to do is go, I got to see my cousin out in California, and never come back.
The funniest thing is, so in Massachusetts, if you win like enough money or a scratch ticket of the lottery, they like take a picture of you with the check and then they post it on their website. So what a lot of people do is they hire a law firm and then the lawyer goes and collects the check. So it's funny because you can look at all the pictures and it's this like same lawyer who just looks like he wins $1 million every other week for like 10 years.
I had a neighbor, her father, I guess, won a lot of money on the lottery. I don't know how much. And I think he did the same thing because no one in the family even knew he had won this money.
That's why most people do it. They don't want their families hitting them up.
Well, yeah, your family or just anybody. You're in the phone. Well, I guess you're not on the phone book anymore. Nope. I don't know. I guess you're on the internet, though. They'll find you that way. Okay, then we get Good Times. Flip over Donnie and Marie with Buddy Hackett, Paul Lynde, Gary Berghoff, and Chuck Berry.
Hollywood Squares that night, I should add, is Leslie Uggams, Vincent Price, Michael Landon, Karen Valentine, Robert Fuller, Marshall Wallace, and George Gobel. But Vincent Price on Hollywood Squares.
Vincent Price, man, he was. That's where I got to know Vincent before the movies.
Of course.
I got to see him in. It's kind of like one of those things. There's certain actors you know through different ways. And Vincent Price, you either knew him from, Creature Double Feature or the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, both good.
One of the two. Or the Muppet Show.
I somewhere in this room have a replica of the Tiki Idol, the cursed Tiki Idol somewhere. Yeah.
That's the legend there. I think my dad has like a coffee cup made to look like it. Then we got Charlie's we got Beretta. Judge gets blackmailed by loan shark. So,
happens all the time.
Beretta will shoot somebody for that. And then Charlie's Angels at 10 o'clock. Angels are on a raceway for a murder case. I'd like to point out to people, years ago, I found all these old Charlie's Angels doll commercials. Kids playing Charlie's Angels dolls. And I thought, this is great. This is cool. I remember Charlie's Angels. I had a book of Farrah Fawcett photos and stuff. And then it hit me. Charlie's Angels wasn't on until 10 o'clock. Why are children watching this show?
They loved it.
There was no way. It was before the DVR, the VCR, the anything R.
And on a Wednesday. On a Wednesday, too. It's not even like it's on a Saturday night. Like, they're just staying up.
I guess, and even West Coast kids, they run the show at 10. I guess Mountain West was like the big popular kids thing.
I'll tell you what it was.
Did they run it at 8 there or not? Mountain time.
Dads wanted to watch that show. And they didn't want to be blackmailed by their kid or have their kid make a fuss, so it was just easier to let them stay up and watch it.
Probably a lot of sleepy kids on the bus with coffee. And then 11:30, Merv Griffin with, let me see, we got Hans Conrad from Fractured Flickers Among Everything, nice. And Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Always good.
Although at the same time, you've got the Columbo with the Vera Mills and her cosmetic empire. This is my favorite story. My kid became, as a teenager, became interested in Harlan Ellison and was blown away by the fact that I got to meet Harlan a couple times when he came to Chapel Hill. And I had to tell her the story about Harlan Ellison catching herpes from Merv Griffin's receptionist.
Yeah.
So it's like, Harlan told us two things. Hey, if you want to pick up a woman, talk like Bogart, do a little Bogart in your voice and you're going to be good. And secondly, don't sleep with Merv Griffin's receptionist.
No, I mean, everybody do that anyway. Some people got to find out the hard way.
They do, and it was Harlan. I was like, but then I showed the kid my autographed Harlan book, and she was like, "Oh my God!"
Forgot all about it.
Yeah, you inherited it. If I still love you at the end.
Before we move on to Thursday, I want to mention at 6 p.m. there's an exercise program on called Maggie's Physical Fatness Program. Not fitness, it says fatness. And I don't know if this is a typo or if the show is actually called Maggie's Physical Fatness Program.
I think it's where De Niro put on that weight for Raging Bull.
It must have been.
He went to Maggie.
Yeah, it's an exercise program on how to get fat.
It's it. I mean, it's sponsored probably by, Cumberland Ice Cream. Come on down, get more ice cream.
Because it's on at 6 p.m. So I'm like, oh, is that on every night at 6? So I looked on the other nights and it's not on. So I still don't know if it could, because the next night on Thursday at 6 on the same channel, there's a show called Paint Along with Nancy Kaminsky.
Man.
Which sounds so SCTV. It's ridiculous.
It is that. Back when regular television was, your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore.
I can't answer the phone right now. I'm painting with Nancy Kaminsky.
Hell yeah. You can't even leave it on. You didn't have an answering machine then. You had to pick up the phone and tell them and hang up.
Yeah.
Quit calling. Nancy's up because your phone didn't stop ringing.
I'm mid-painting.
I think someone told me once you could burn out somebody's ringer on their phone if you left it ringing for like 30 minutes.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that.
I miss those days when people couldn't get a hold of you if you didn't want to get a hold of them.
You could win the lottery and disappear forever and no one could call you.
I didn't even have an answering machine until like 1993. I don't know. Although I used it as my my testing to see if my house had been burglarized. When I was in Winston-Salem, I'd come to Raleigh. And so occasionally I would just call up my home phone back in Winston to see if anyone tried to bust into my apartment. Because if the answering machine picked up, I figured, they didn't steal it.
Right, that would have been good. It's a high value item that would have gone right out the window. Yeah.
Especially with what I owed.
So Thursday, what are you doing?
Thursday, first we start with Starsky and Hutch at 6 because it's Death at a Wrestling Arena.
Yeah, a classic.
Love Starsky and Hutch. I bought all the discs and once again, this is one of those things where I didn't realize it went on as long as it did.
Oh, yeah. It's like 8 seasons.
It was 4 seasons, but it only it ended in the like 81 or something. I kept thinking it ended in like 77. So yeah, they were there. And then Bright Light Leaf, the movie, is on at 7, which I remember because I'm a co-producer of a film called Moving Midway. It's a documentary about a miserable family who sells the property that their old family plantation is on. So they have to pick the building up, put it on wheels, and move it back to some swampland. And I did not like the homeowner. It was Ross McElwee was somehow listed on the film, even though I don't recall him ever being there. And Ross, he directed Sherman's March and stuff. And Ross is a pain. Ross was supposed to come to the school, and somehow they wanted something to do. We had in the archive, like there was a missing piece of the Brightleaf movie, and I spent like a week going through cans and cans and cans looking for this piece of shit, and I couldn't find it. And at no point did Ross talk to me. So I was like, I don't like you, Ross McElwee, period. So there you go. We'll watch Brightleaf the first 30 minutes to see what I was trying to find.
What you missed.
Yeah. And then 8 o'clock, Fantastic Journey, Carl Franklin, who and Roddy McDowell and Ike Eiserman. Ike Eiserman, by the way, great follow on Facebook if you people want. He puts up his acting stuff and things, and he's a great one there.
I'd never heard of this show. So this is a prison ship from the 21st century hurtles through the time warp, carrying a ruthless convict who terrorizes a colony of peaceful aliens in his search for a return home. Jared Martin, Carl Franklin, Richard Jekyll, Ike Eisenman, Roddy McDowell, and Lou Ayres.
I'm telling you, it is Lost. It's where they ripped off Lost. It's this weird island where things happen.
I'm in.
It is so worth. It's only I think it only lasted a season or so. I remember MeTV ran it in the middle of the night at one point.
Well,
that's how I ended up taping.
It's a new episode, so I have to imagine it's like a summer replacement series. If it's a new episode in June,
it might have been a burn off.
Yeah.
Also, and then, but by the way, Carl Franklin, for people at home, he did One False Move.
Yes.
It's a really great documentary, a movie with Billy Bob Thornton, and I just adore that film. So support Carl.
No wrong.
And he was on the A-Team.
Yes.
So there you go. Then we got actual Barney Miller, and daughter joins religious cult. Don't join religious cults,
kids. One.
Yeah. And then Fish is on, where Fish gets a job as a security guard. I don't get why he didn't just go back to the force,
it didn't make any sense. Like, you just watching it the whole time, just being like, it was one of those things where you go, this just makes me want to watch Barney Miller.
Yeah. And then we got Previn and the Pittsburgh, with Andre Previn conducting the Pittsburgh Symphony. My story of Andre Previn, who was formerly Mr. Mia Farrow, was his orchestra. He was part of the I guess it was the RPO, Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, came to NC State to perform at what used to be called Friends of the College. It's a really great series where they bring in orchestras. I saw Burl Ives,
Nice.
Isaac Haley Dance Company and stuff. All these great performances, and it was for kids. It was free for students, I should say, not kids. But it was great, and he came and he was pissed because first off, the audience played when they played. God Save the Queen, the audience decided to sing My Country 'Tis of Thee along with
and
the
probably had no idea that it wasn't that.
Yeah, and so they were, he was not happy with that, and also it was cough and flu season.
Wonderful.
So the audience was just coughing, and then people tearing apart wrappers. I suggested to the head of the festival that they needed to get, like cough drops in those, wax paper things so no one can hear them. I don't know if they took
or just tape everyone's mouth up.
Once again, now we talk about Johnny, we talk about Tonight Show and how great it was, but I'm going to say right now, and I joked about Merv Griffin and Harlan, but at 11 o'clock we get what has to be one of the great comedy meetings of the minds.
Yeah.
Merv brings together Phil Silvers and Steve Martin.
Yep.
Steve Martin, who would go on to play Sergeant Bilko in a very forgettable film.
Very bad Bilko
whereas Phil
movie.
makes Bilko rule.
Yes.
So yeah. So that's worth. And then at midnight, One Spy Too Many, one of those Man from U.N.C.L.E. where they slap two episodes together to make it a movie.
All of a sudden. And then interestingly, on the Tomorrow Show, Tom Snyder interviews Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's. So too early for him to talk about the Porno Theater McDonald's, but if it'd been a couple years later, he could have discussed it. Friday night, final night of the week. What are you doing?
I know, it's sad, but at noon, I have to watch Shoot for the Stars because it has Ann Mira.
Okay.
And Ann, I'm telling you, I was drunk. It was the Permanent Midnight. It was the grand premiere or whatever of Permanent Midnight in New York City. I'd weaseled my way in because at the time I was internet friends with Jane Hampshire,
Nice.
the producer, and who did what do you call it? Damn it, the Tarantino film, the Natural Born
Oh,
Killers.
yeah.
And so I had made fun of the fact that I thought she would steal my record collection online, and she got a hold of me. And so we developed a friendship, and it was the first time meeting her, and I was so nervous that basically I downed a 6-pack before I went over.
Nice.
So I'm drunk as hell riding the subway.
Appropriate for that movie, by the way.
It was, except Permanent Midnight, they butchered it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. It's a great book. I met Jerry. I felt really bad because I got to finally meet Jerry Stahl. And Jerry Stahl and Alex Alexis from Everclear, who I know both are in the program. And I am there so freaking drunk because on top of it all, the party afterwards, it's an open bar. Yeah. My friend Sydney, she was at the same bar the day before where it was $10 for a Budweiser. So I'm sitting there doing double Jack and Coke.
Just with the cash register ringing in your head every time you have one.
Hell yeah, it was an $800 visit. But, and I'm doing my best to hide my drink behind my back as I talk to them because I'm thinking this, I was, younger, so I figured it's good not to have them smell it.
Sure.
Except it's all over my breath.
Yeah, there's no way to hide that.
But Ann and Jerry were there, and they were so nice to me because Ben starred in the film.
Yep.
And I remembered this joke they did about a gay pandas on the Carol Burnett show. And they looked at me and said, "You're not old enough to remember that." But Ann really was like that aunt you barely get to meet, but you adore.
Oh, yeah,
and
you instantly feel familial to them.
I loved it. And that was also the party where I learned that Donald Trump has germphobe problems when I shook his hand and he ran off to the bathroom right after that.
Maybe
with his hand in front of him, fingers stretched out, like, oh my God, what have I done?
You might have really turned him on.
Of all the people I have met whose careers have gone downhill, okay, everyone so many people I've met, so many political people who I've met thinking, okay, this is a good contact, and then like I'm getting out of politics. I can't deal with it anymore. He's it.
Yeah.
He's the success story. And I'm just like, why? Yeah. Why couldn't I have cursed this one person? Yeah. Why couldn't I? Like,
if only you'd have infected him with some sort of... If only you had Ebola.
I blame myself.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I blame you too.
Yeah, that's good. So it's send all your nasty emails to me, Jerry Still.
Care of this station.
To the care of the station. Okay, so we got that. Then we got 12:30, Chico and the Man, where it's a great episode where the man thinks George Takei is his son.
Yep.
From when he was stationed in Japan.
And again,
it's a good George version.
Jack Albertson.
Love George.
From Revere, Mass.
Yep. Jack is great. And, I think as a kid, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s death freaked me out.
Yeah.
It was like, wait, he shot himself?
Yeah, that was a huge deal and incredibly shocking. And yeah.
I mean, when Bob Crane died, that was shocking too as a kid. But somebody beat him to death.
Yeah,
so
he was like, older
God, somebody
too.
would do that to Bob Crane.
Right.
Yeah. So, Carpy. Okay, then we got, let me see, what we got? 7 o'clock, Mary Tyler Moore Show with David Ogden Stiers. And you can't, and by the way, I once had dinner with Larry Linville when he came to the school.
Oh, nice.
I did not know Larry Linville was Rada. I mean, that was the weirdest thing. We're sitting there going, wait, you were Rada?
Yeah.
It's like the man from Mannix is on Rada? Cool. So he was a great guy to talk to. My technician interview is online.
Nice.
They put all the old technicians online so I can stare and be horrified at my typos. Which is what I do for stuff I posted last week.
Yeah, I mean, that's the human condition when you hit a certain age.
It is. And then we got Muppet Show with Harvey Korman.
A great one.
Can't do that. And then 8 o'clock, The Prince of Central Park, where two kids hide in the park to survive. I don't know why. I'm just curious about the film. And,
Made for TV movie. It says it's for the whole family. TJ Hargrave, Lisa Richards, Ruth Gordon, and Mark.
Well, there you go. It's Ruth Gordon. Well, she would come back because, she would sort of, what was it? My Bodyguard.
Yeah.
A couple of years
It's based
later.
on the novel by Evan H. Rhodes.
There you go. And then flip to Rockford Files in between commercials.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Rockford Files.
Got to do that. And then 9:30, Battle for the
Before you get to 9:30, guest starring in this episode of Rockford Files in the role as Sherman Royale,
Avery Schreiber.
Alex Rocco.
Oh, Alex
Speaking
Rocco.
of Friends of Eddie Coyle.
I know. And speaking of actual gangsters who were in movies.
Yep.
It's the best part when people recognized Alex and Friends of Eddie Coyle going, we know him from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, okay, so then Planet of the Battle for the Planet of the Apes, the final of the ape movies. As far as I'm concerned.
With the mutants.
All the other ones I can't care.
You get
enough of these.
You got mutants in it.
Yeah, you do, and you get John Landis in it,
Yep.
and Paul Williams, who
Yep.
I love.
And
Paul Williams,
Claude Akins.
brilliant man. Claude Akins you can't beat. I feel bad. We picked this up before Lobo. You know? It's pre-Lobo. And then Quincy's also on against it, so we might flip back and forth Quincy, because I love Quincy. Oh my God, 10 o'clock, La Ventura, Michelangelo Antonioni. I don't know how the people of Maine didn't watch this.
On PBS.
PBS, it's like, you know what, honey, I'm going to go catch lobsters a couple hours later because I must see some great Italian.
2.5 hour 1960 Antonioni movie on PBS.
Imagine trying to pick it up, and because I'm going to guess no one had cable in 77 up there.
No.
I mean, my cousins who lived in West Roxbury, I don't even know when they got cable. It must have been the mid 80s or something. I remember Sid and Nancy was being sold on pay-per-view,
Nice.
so around
okay,
then.
so it would have been like 86.
Yeah, they finally decided to move wires into the neighborhood. So you're trying to watch a foreign film and read subtitles off your your antenna.
Yeah.
Oof.
There's also on Channel 5, they're showing The House of 1,000 Dolls at 11:30. A Tangier bordello masking a European white slavery ring in this 1967 melodrama filmed on location. It's an Italian exploitation movie. It's kind of a giallo. Vincent Price is in it, but I love they call it a melodrama filmed on location.
That is the sweetest thing. I love the film. So it's Vincent.
It's a good film.
It's burning up. I think that and you run that with Confessions of an Opium Eater, back to back Vincent, to see him playing a kind of a fringy guy. And then finally at 1 a.m. we wrap up the week with the Midnight Special with Neil Sedaka, Van Morrison, Fleetwood Mac, and everyone's favorite Mr. Chicken, Kenny Rogers.
What a weird lineup.
That was the key to the Midnight Special. It was always weird.
Yeah.
There was, Helen Reddy, and then this, and then. Here comes Black
Grand
Sabbath
Funk
or something.
Railroad, yeah.
It was great. It was a good mix. It was back when people would mix stuff up. I mean, that's the sad part of today's, music. It's so homogenized.
Everything's a niche.
I don't even know who anybody is anymore. I felt bad. They had that deal where it's like, I forget how much, $20 a ticket for anything, the shows around here. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. And I looked it up and I'm like,
I don't know.
Sting. That was about it. I was like,
I'm sure Sting put on a good show.
like the small place. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. My God. Well,
Man.
that's the week. Thank you for doing this.
That is. Oh, I've got one more thing. We got to talk about because the letters.
Oh, yes. Yeah, go for it.
The letters. Someone mentions their favorite Mouseketeers. And I have a favorite Mouseketeer, and it's a strange one. It's JJ.
I don't know.
From the second season.
Okay.
He's unmemorable in the sense from the Mouseketeers. They didn't promote him because supposedly he was not one of Walt's favorites.
Okay.
But J.J. Solari would go on to become one of the great short story writers of our time.
Oh, interesting.
For Easy Rider magazine.
Okay.
He wrote this book or short story called No Class Chick. And it's about this guy who's trying to join a motorcycle gang. And part of the thing is the last thing he's got to do is they're having some party somewhere, and he has to pick this one. He picks out of a hat this one woman he's got to go cross country with to get back to the clubhouse. Except when he goes over to get her, she's overdosed, and he has to basically. And they tell him, no, you got to bring her back. And so he has to bungee cord her to his motorcycle and go cross country. And it's just this weird American
road trip
journey novel, short story. And I tried my hardest to get this made to a film. And everybody was like, oh, this is amazing. This is cool. No money. No. There's no money here. And I felt bad. But it is a great short story. And it is worth, if you ever, J.J. Solari wrote a book, what's it called? When Bikers Meet Humans. And it doesn't have No Class Chicken. You'll have to look online to find No Class Chick. But he did that. And so that's a great one. And also there's an ad for jockey underwear, which feature Pete Rose.
Yeah, in
So
about
that's pretty
14 different looks. So if you ever want to see Pete
Yeah,
Rose in like
it's-
14 different underwear,
Now Boston Celtics JoJo White is there, and he's a great guy.
Yeah.
But Pete Rose, that was when he was creepily hooking up with teenage girls. So
yeah.
it's not a good view.
No,
at this
there's
point.
very few good views of Pete Rose.
And remember, next week on TV Guide, Cindy Williams.
Yes.
Is going to be interviewed. I missed her. She came to town to do her like one woman show, and it was a bad time for me, so I couldn't make it over. And then unfortunately, she died soon after. So
there's always there's so many of those like regret, like you're like, I'll see him next time, and then there is no next time.
there was no next time, and it was like, oh crud. So yeah, enjoy all your stuff.
If people enjoy the show, they'll love your books. Where's the best place for them to get your books? Do you have a preference?
I'm gonna guess Amazon,
Okay,
because
Amazon's
I run Josie Alma Press.
Yep.
That's named after the kid, and they're on Amazon. There's actually 3 of them. And so they cover 3 different little 80s weird teen. They're fictional teen film festivals. As I go deep, except they're not summaries of the books. They're just they're the early ones are more about the movies and delving into like John Hughes and the fact that he got his background. His background was Virginia Slim cigarettes.
Yeah.
That was his
It's
ad
an ad
campaign.
man,
No
yeah.
one talks about. So he knew how to sell cancer to kids. And that's the way he manipulates his films so that you don't notice 16 Candles is Porky's.
Yeah.
Except he slaps tries to do these little sweet moments so you forget about, I don't know, let's face it, Farmer Ted basically attacking the girlfriend.
All
So,
the
yeah,
racism and
it's
assault.
It is. So, and so there's those 3. And then there's also a book I did, if you like the story of Dennis Hoff, there is a book of my, it's Lessons from the Pimp, which combines all my interviews with Dennis from over the years that, tells more stories of, the unseemly life of pimpdom. And also there is a book I put together of my other interviews called Twilight of My Gods, which has interviews with Chuck McCann from Far Out Space Nuts and stuff. And also he was in Columbo. We talked about his Columbo, I believe. And then Marty Krofft is in it, Duff from Ace of Cakes, and a whole bunch of people I've interviewed over the years. So I put that when I worked on Kevin Smith's website, his Quick Stop Entertainment website.
So I'll put a link
So that's all there,
to the
too. So-
web store, and people will love it there.
Enjoy the books. Thanks again, Ken. This was
Oh,
great.
you're welcome. Thank you. I'm so glad we had a chance to do this. That's Joe. Get his books. You will not be disappointed. If you like the show, you will enjoy the books. I guarantee. Who is that old New Orleans chef? That's like a 40-year-old reference. If I just did that to like some Zoomers, they would probably Wickerman me, wouldn't they? Yeah, I think that's what would happen. Anyway, I'll be here next week. I hope you will too. I'll have a brand new edition. It'll be TV Guidance Counselor. See you then.
Dan Haggerty had a one-night stand with Phyllis Diller.